Texans lose a key piece to their offense as tight end Brevin Jordan goes down on Monday. Hey, what's going on, y'all? You tuned into the Texas Tailgate Talk podcast show. I'm your host, Big Sarge. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Follow me on the tick and the talk at Big Sarge Media. Make sure you subscribe to the Texas Tailgate Talk podcast and YouTube channel. All one word, Texans Tailgate Talk. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Because you know we do everything for the gram. And I need you all. Let me go ahead real quickly and do this. Share screen. Share my screen. Share my screen. I need you all to make sure you go over to BigSargeMedia.com, BigSargeMedia.com, as I'm starting to write again. I told you all I'm writing again. So you see article that came out on Monday, emotions run high as Houston Texans tight end Brevin. Did I say Brevin? I gotta, you know what? I'm glad. Hey, y'all, this stuff be happening in real time. How did that happen? Y'all give me a second, because we can't have now. What we can't have is that. Who messed up my Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? I know exactly what happened. That's what happens sometimes when things like this happen. I know exactly what happened. Ain't a user. Here we go. Ain't a user error either. That's a error on what I'm using, the operating system that I'm using. Here we go. Emotions run high as Houston Texans tight end Brevin Jordan is carted off the field during training camp. Ah, man, oh man, oh man. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. So y'all make sure that y'all go to BigSargeMedia.com and read my articles as well. All right, what's going on, y'all? I'm back from West Virginia. Hey, I had a very good time in West Virginia. I'm back from West Virginia, back from Minnesota. And I'll tell you what, let me tell you this. Hold on for a second. Let me tell you this. I love Houston. I really do. I love Houston Texans with all my heart. I love Houston, Texas with all my heart. But I really love going other places and being able to breathe. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I love being in other places, and y'all haven't heard y'all have heard me say this on numerous occasions when I go out of town and come back. I love being able to breathe. I just love being able to breathe. And that humidity, I didn't realize, because you get climatized sometimes to being in one spot in one place, and you can get used to it. But when I leave and I come back, I can feel the humidity, and I can tell that I'm having a hard time breathing because of this humidity, because I've been able to expand my lungs when I've been in other places. So I love being in West Virginia. I love being in Minnesota, although I couldn't breathe as much as I could when I was in West Virginia. But yeah, I had a very good time, and glad to be back, glad to be home, glad to be with you all right here on the Texas Tailgate Talk Show. Couple of things. I did a recap from the game on Saturday, and I talked about Blake Fisher. I talked about the Houston Texans offense looking good with Davis Mills. I talked about, I think, Ariante Ursery, the rookie offensive lineman that looked good when he played at left tackle. Um, and then we came back, and on Monday, the Texans resumed training camp. They had an off day on Sunday. They resumed training camp on Monday, and so we'll get to the big thing, real quick. We'll get to the biggest news coming out of Texas training camp on Monday that I was in attendance for, with the Brevin Jordan injury. But I just want to say this. I want to give you some other updates. I don't know if other people did or not, but let me give you some other updates from training camp practice on Monday. The defense showing out again during the first two periods, but in that second two period, as it has been for the last couple of practices that I observed, you could tell. Let me move it. You can tell that for some reason in the second half of practice, things are starting to balance out. I don't know what it is about that first half of practice where the Houston Texans offense seems to be stuck in mud. But in the second half of practice, that offense seems to pick itself up and move itself like a lot, like a lot. And so CJ Stroud had some really good throws in that second half of practice. He had a really good throw to Brevin Jordan. He threaded the needle and got one into Dalton Schultz. Davis Mills. I it seems like to me that Davis Mills really likes this offense. Like, you could just tell he just looks, and it could also be the experience of Davis Mills being in the league for as long as he has, being through the amount of adversity that he's been through. But this system, for some reason, he just looks comfortable. He looks comfortable. Davis Mills is moving around better in the pocket. Davis Mills is making better decisions, and I guess that comes with time. But I'm gonna be honest with you. Let me say it like this: if Davis Mills, move this microphone closer. If Davis Mills was in Cleveland, he'd be competing for a starting position. And I don't mean like competing on the back end. I'm talking about like in the forefront. Like, Davis Mills in Cleveland would be competing for a starting position. That's how much better he has gotten. That's how much better he has improved. Uh, Let me think. Trying to think of some other places that he might be competing for a starting position. I got to sit back and I got to think about that. I got to think about some other places that he would be competing for a starting position. Uh, I'll get back to you all when we do the happy hour, the Texas happy hour. But yeah, and so Davis Mills looked good. The defense looked good. Kamari Lassiter still look good. But oh yeah, I'm him says in New Orleans. Yeah, in New Orleans, he would be competing. He would definitely be competing for a starting position if he was in New Orleans right now. And we're talking about Davis Mills, the backup quarterback for the Houston Texans. He's had a really good camp. And I'm not talking about, so I think that when I give you all my observations from camp and when we're looking at just quarterback play in general, I'm watching Davis Mills, and he doesn't have the happy feet anymore. He doesn't have the happy feet. And it looks like in this offense, he's able to make quicker decisions. He doesn't have to wait for the route concepts. Let me sit up. He doesn't have to wait for the route concepts to develop. He doesn't have to wait for the longer route concepts like he did in the Bobby Slowick offense. And so give me a second, y'all. With that being said, he's starting to look a whole lot better. He's starting to look like he's getting his feet up under him. He's more comfortable in the pocket. He's making better decisions. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, he's still going to make mistakes, and especially going to be mistakes when he has it is definitely going to be mistakes when you are trying to learn a new offense. But I just want to, give you all some of the recap from Texans training camp practice on Monday. They were inside the bubble because it was hot. It was hot. It was hot, like hot. And head coach D'Amico Ryan said that it was his decision to take them inside of the bubble. It was his decision to bring them inside of the bubble because he didn't want his players falling out like that because it was very, very, very hot. And so that was some of the that was some of where we at? Okay, that was some of the things that happened on Monday. We're about to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to definitely get into the Brevin Jordan situation as far as the injury is concerned and why it's okay for men to be emotional. We'll be back.
Hi, Laura Williams coming to you here from Easy Honda. Just want to remind you that this is my new home, and here at Easy Honda, we are here to take care of all your vehicle needs. From new vehicles to pre-owned vehicles, we've got what you are looking for. And if you're a business and you're looking for vehicles, we've got a great selection here at our dealership. For any information on getting your next vehicle here at Easy Honda, you can reach me at 281-224-3666. Remember to ask for Laura Williams. We make it easy here at Easy Honda.
Hey, welcome back. You're tuned into the Texas Tailgate Talk Show. I'm your host, Big Sarge. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. So I don't know how many of you all seen my video after practice on Monday. It wasn't the same. It wasn't the same for me. It wasn't the same for me because I don't know how many of you all have ever been in a situation where you've heard somebody scream in excruciating pain. And not only the pain from the injury, but the pain from not only the pain from the injury, but the mindset of, I can't believe that this is happening to me. I can't believe that this is happening to me again. Inside of that Methodist Training Center practice bubble, the last time I heard somebody bellow out like that, the last time I heard somebody sob like that in pain and in agony and being hurt from a mental aspect was my late wife, Jamila, when she was dealing with cancer and the cancer was affecting her body so bad that she would just scream out because she was in excruciating pain. And no matter what amount of medication we gave her, it was still pain. And inside of her screaming out in pain, she would say sometimes, like, why me? Why me? I mean, to be dealing with cancer, stage 4 colon cancer, knowing that you've been diagnosed with death, I'm just using her for an example, knowing that you got 4 kids, knowing that you got 2 grandkids, knowing that, but you are not going, you may not make it to your 40th birthday. That's the last time I've heard, and this was 2017. So September 5th, 2017 is when she passed away. So that was almost 8 years ago. I haven't heard anybody be in that type of pain. Now, when Tank Dell got hurt in week 16 in Kansas City, all the way up in the press box, you could hear him. You could hear him screaming out in pain. Like all the way up in the press box, you could hear him screaming out. That's how much pain he was in. It was excruciating. And I don't know if you've all have ever been to Arrowhead Stadium or not. What is it? Jihad Arrowhead, whatever it's called, but it's loud. It's one of the loudest stadiums in the NFL, and that stadium got completely quiet. When I say quiet, I mean you could hear a pin drop. That's how quiet it was inside of the stadium. And you could hear Tank Dell. You knew that he was in pain. You could hear that, but it wasn't so much as how I heard Brevin Jordan on Monday. I wasn't closest to the situation with Tank Dell as I was with Brevin Jordan. And when I say close, I'm talking about close. If any of you all have ever been inside the bubble, we were on the sideline, like right where the end zone is. And I was standing. So because I was on the end watching the offense head towards the end zone. So I was standing actually at the end zone, observing back, watching the offense. I was watching from the defensive perspective. So because I'm watching what the offense is doing. And so I watched the whole play. I watched the whole play out in front of me. I watched the entire play out in front of me. And it's crazy because like I said in the in my recap video, it was nothing but a routine play. It's just a routine play. Brevin Jordan went up to make a catch. He went up to make a catch and he barely missed the catch. And I'm thinking that if he'd have made the catch, he'd have probably been able to protect himself a little bit better. And that's not to say that it's his fault that he got hurt. No, it was just a routine play and a freak accident, just like it was with CJ Gardner-Johnson in West Virginia. It's a routine play and a freak accident, but the way he came down. So, and I'm gonna get into I'm gonna get into that. Let me see, because I got notes right here, y'all. So, yeah, let me go ahead and get into it right now. So, Brevin went down, and when he went down, he immediately sat up. And when he sat up, he grabbed his leg. I think it was his left leg, if I'm not mistaken. He immediately sat up and he grabbed his leg. Wasn't emotional, wasn't anything. And I don't know if he went into shock or whatever it was, but he immediately sat up and he grabbed his leg. And so now he's just sitting there. And when the players realized that he wasn't getting up, they ran over. Some of the players, like I think it was Nico and I think it was Will Anderson Jr. ran over to him, but the training staff, the training and the medical staff immediately ran towards him. They immediately ran towards him. And so now Brevin is just sitting there and Brevin is holding his leg. And he's holding his leg and there is no emotion. And so he's just holding his leg, he's holding his leg. And then they lay him down. And when they lay him down, the rest of the team gets off of one knee and they run over to him. So as he's laying on the ground, I guess the shock had worn off and the pain kicked in. And not only the pain kicked in, but the reality that he's probably going to miss the entire season based off of the injury that he had. That man, and Brevin Jordan is 6'5". No, Brevin Jordan is, 6'3", 245 pounds. I've never heard, sorry, I'm not saying I never heard, but I hadn't heard someone bellow out in pain like that since my late wife. And you could hear it because it was so quiet that it echoed throughout the entire bubble. And you could just hear him just continuously sobbing and just like it wouldn't like he just, you could just tell he knew. You could just tell he knew. like the initial shock of him getting hurt had worn off, and then you could just hear him just 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 screaming out in anguish and in pain. And if you were inside of that bubble, you would have, like, it got to everybody that was in there. Everybody. Not just the players, not just the coaching staff, not just people from the organization, the media. Like, we were all on the sidelines, like, because there's nothing that you can do. There's nothing that you can do to help him during that time. And you could just, you empathize and you sympathize with him because he's hurt, and you could just hear him screaming out in pain. And so as they got him up on the cart, he was still screaming out in pain. He was still screaming out in pain. And then that's when like I said, that's when the next phase of what was going on hit him. Because as they were carting him out of the bubble, all you kept hearing him scream was no, 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 no. And as he was going out, you could hear it. And when he got out, he was so loud that we could still hear it on the inside of the bubble. Kept screaming out no. Now, side note, Brevin Jordan is a very spiritual guy, right? Brevin Jordan is a very spiritual guy. He's one of those guys that, he's a Christian. And so if I had to take an educated guess, I probably would say that Brevin probably was thinking to himself, I just went through this last season and I rehabbed and I worked so hard to be able to get back on the field. And now I get back on the field and now I'm going to be out again. And it's just one of those plays where, like, let me take you back to Saturday's preseason game against the Minnesota Vikings. When Rondale Moore, the wide receiver from the Minnesota Vikings, was returning the punt and he got hurt. And now he's out for the season. Rondale Moore missed all of last season with a knee injury. So he was coming back and now he's out for the season, which is probably the diagnosis for Brevin. And if you know Brevin, you know that man I ain't never seen a time where Brevin didn't have a smile on his face. I never seen a time where Brevin wasn't giving off positive energy. And it was like a tank-like mood inside. It was like a tank-like mood inside of that bubble. And it was different from CJ Gardner-Johnson's injury on Friday because, it was quiet. And now, hindsight is 2020. But now to think about it, he probably knew that it wasn't as bad as it looked. He probably knew that it wasn't as bad as it was. And, as he was going off the field, he just went off the field. But when he got in the back, I heard he was cussing like a sailor. I heard he was mad because when a player, like, you think about it, when these players they want to play, they want to compete, they want to be out there with their brothers. And so to not be out there with their brothers, that, that could affect them, that could bother them. So it was a tank-like mood on Monday inside of that bubble. And it was different from CJ Gardner-Johnson. And one of the reasons why you can empathize with a player like Brevin Jordan, who has worked so hard to get back, is because, even for him to be back on the field on Saturday, I was one of the last people to talk to Brevin, and I put the video out. On social media, and we're going to watch it here in just a second. But I put that video out on social media, and you could just feel his energy. And like I said, when I show you this video, you could just feel his energy about happy to being back. And I'll probably put it out again, reshare it on Wednesday. I just felt like it was not the proper time to put it out during the week. I mean, I'm sorry, to put it out the same day that he got injured. So this was Brevin Jordan on Saturday.
I don't even know how to word it. It was really
So the preseason game for you,
yeah, bro.
is that feeling. What was that feeling, that exhilaration that you had just to be back on the football field?
I don't even know how to word it. It was really for me just a sense of gratitude, like humility, hunger. I was just grateful to be back out there, dog. Because when we played them last year, I got hurt week 2, and we played them week 3 last year, and I was at home watching. But then to come back in my first preseason game back is against them, bro. It's unbelievable. It's very humbling.
How do you build off of what you did today?
Yeah, just keep stacking, man. I live by the motto of keep going. So I think as a team, we see the potential, and I think we just got to go back and just keep building, bro. Just keep stacking, keep adding layers to who we want to be as a team and as an offense.
Appreciate it. And could you just see it? And breaking news, Brevin Jordan has been placed on the injured reserve list. So it did confirm what I thought and what I had been hearing, but he has been placed on the injured reserve list. But could you see you see how Brevin was, you see how excited he was, and that was just a preseason game, but he was just excited to be back on the field. And so for him to work as hard as he did to get back on the field, for him to be as excited as he was, and for him to put in the amount of work that he did last season, and him to go down like that, the players noticed that, right? The players noticed that because he was having a really good camp. And so with him having a really good camp like he was, and he didn't have a lot of yards on Saturday, but it was just like he said, he was just happy to be back on the field, being back and getting some NFL time, being able to be back in a game, just in some NFL action. And now, and I mean, just like what we said, he's been placed on IR. Probably it's going to be season ending. I mean, it's probably going to be out for the season. I don't think they'll be able to bring him back, not after the way that you could tell and how much pain that he was in. So, okay, so I said all of that, right? I said all of that to say this. Let me put this to the side because y'all, I'm about to get. Let me push this to the side. Give me a second. Y'all, give me a second. So this is the portion of the show where you're probably going to hear some profanity from Big Sarge. This is part of the show where you're probably going to hear Sarge raise his voice. So for those of you all who are in the chat, for those of you all who are watching this in real time, if you want to exit now, I definitely understand. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of the Texans Tailgate Talk Show. Please subscribe on YouTube and to the podcast, Texans Tailgate Talk, all one word. And make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Star Sports with a Z at the end. I appreciate it. I really do. I just want to give you a warning now. So once I get into this soliloquy, once I get into this diatribe, I don't want you all to start commenting, well, Sarge, I ain't come here for that, because I warned you. I'm telling you right now, I'm warning you. I might use some profanity. I'm trying to be a better Christian, so I'm trying not to cuss, because me cussing is going to mean that I'm going to have to repent. I'm trying to be a better Christian, so I'm trying not to cuss. I can't promise you that I won't use profanity. I can't promise you that the octave in my voice won't raise a little bit. because what I'm about to speak on is something that is near and dear to my heart. And it is the one thing, that just drives me up a wall. Just pisses me off to the highest of pistivity when it comes to men. And I'm talking about men specifically. I'm talking about men specifically. Because men think that you weak if you show emotions. Men think that you weak if you cry in certain situations. That's why most men have mental health issues. Older men especially have mental health issues because they were raised in a time where your daddies, your uncles, your granddaddies, any man in your family will tell you, don't cry, suck it up. Don't cry, be a man. What the fuck you talking about? Be a man. I'm hurt. You just whooped my ass. I'm hurt too behind that. Don't cry after you've taken a belt to me. Don't cry after you've punched me in my chest. Don't cry because I'm emotionally hurt. Are you fucking serious? Suck it up. Be a man. That's why a lot of you older men have issues. That's why a lot of you older men suffer from mental health issues and your minds is thrown off. I tell people all the time, you're not weak if you go seek help. The weakness is in you not seeking help. That's where the weakness is, in you not seeking help. You're not weak if you show emotions. You're not weak if you show that something is bothering you or that you're hurt. You're not weak if you're watching one of your teammates bellow out in pain and you show emotions. Not tears, but emotions. And y'all don't think that a player can show emotions and still be a leader? Are you fucking kidding me? Pray for me, y'all. I'm gonna need it. Pray for me. Pray for me. Because that's one of the things that pisses me off. And for a lot of you people who are talking about these players being emotional, especially CJ Stroud, you weren't there. I know you weren't there because I was there. And what I'm saying now, hey, I ain't hard to find. I'm easy to find. I'm easy to find. I'm easy to talk to. And if you want to have a conversation about it, man to man, we can have a conversation about it, man to man. But it's not weak for these players who are human beings. Like you think that they're fucking robots. They're not. They're human beings. They get emotional. Brevin Jordan wasn't just a teammate that they met yesterday. He wasn't just signed to the Texans. This is a young man that has been around them for a very long time. This is a young man that they watched put in all the work that he had to come back. He just suffered a season-ending injury last year after the Chicago Bears game in week 2. They watched him rehab and to get himself back on the field and him having a good camp. And then he goes down again. And not only did he go down in the manner in which he was carted off the field, it was an emotional time. I be damned if you come to me in my face and tell me, hey, Sarge, don't be emotional. Who the hell you talking to, bruh? Not me. Like, we could start this conversation over, or we could take it to wherever it needs to go. You're not going to tell me how I should react. You're not going to tell me how I should act. And I don't give a damn what happens after that. Saying that CJ can't be followed in the locker room, and CJ, probably some of those players don't think that he's a leader because he got emotional with Tank, and now he got emotional, with Brevin. CJ wasn't the only one that was emotional. Will Anderson Jr. was emotional. And the funny part about it is, some of you all who are saying these things, you got access. So if you feel that way, go to him and ask him, or say what you said, how you feel to him. Request the one-on-one. Request to talk to whoever it is you need to talk to that you had an issue with and a problem with about what was going on. Request to speak to him. All of these people, these other quote unquote tough, strong men that are on social media who weren't there and who don't have the access, or who are just listening to you or reading reports, push them to the side. I don't care nothing about that. Them just ones and zeros. You got the access. Y'all have the access. You got a credential. Come to a training camp, practice, and ask. Come to the locker room and ask. They right there. On Tuesday, practice starts at 11:50. We get interviews at 1:30. Practice will be again on Wednesday. Practice will be again on Thursday. They have a game on Saturday, and then they start practice all over again on Monday as they head to Detroit. These people that you're criticizing for being emotional, they ain't hard to find. They right there. They're right there, right there. Right there. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't know how you could paint a picture for somebody being emotional. And the bigger issue that I have with some of these comments that I've read on social media is, some of you all have played the game. Now, you may not have played it at a professional level. You may not have played it on a college level. You may have only made it to high school. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. If you made something out of your life, then ain't nothing wrong with that. But you've played the game before. And if you're telling me that during your playing days, you watch one of your teammates go down like that and you didn't get emotional. I was talking to a former player last season. And they said one of the things that they hated the most about playing for a certain team, I'm not going to tell you the team they played for, but one thing that they hated about playing with a certain team was when players got injured in practice. If there was a significant injury, and no matter the significance of the injury, coach would just move the ball to the other side and keep going. Just move the ball and keep it moving. Hey, we got to keep going. We got to keep practicing. And that's one of the things that I respect about Texans head coach DeMeco Ryans. Because when CJ Gardner-Johnson went down, he brought the team to the middle of the field. He talked with them, and then they finished practice. On Monday, when Brevin Jordan went down, he brought the team to the middle of the field. They talked, and then they went back to practice. He didn't just say, get Brevin off the field or let's go down to the other end while they tend to Brevin here. Let's finish practice and go down to the other end. He brought them together, and they talked about it. They talked about what went on. And for me, I thought that was something that was needed, not only with the amount of veterans that you have on the team, because you also You also have veterans who's been in this league for a very long time on that team that are going to talk to they're going to talk to the players. They're going to talk to the younger players when they get in there. But you also got a lot of younger players who have witnessed these injuries back to back and saying like, okay. And especially some of those players may not have heard a player go off the field like Brevin did on Monday. So I just don't understand it. I can't comprehend it. It's not registering in my brain. I mean, if you want to talk about the leadership of particular players by their play and by their actions on the field, that's one thing. But to talk about players being human beings, that's the equivalent. And I'm not going to even lie. I look at some of my colleagues like this. I look at some of my colleagues like they really have the mindset of just shut up and play football. Shut up and play football. We don't care. We don't care. We don't care. We don't care you got a family. We don't care if something happened to your family. We don't care if something happened to your teammates. Shut up and play football. Just play football. I don't no. La 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 la. Shut up and play football. Like these people aren't like these men aren't human beings. But on the flip side, probably why a lot of players that have to talk to certain people because they have to, not because they want to. There's a difference. There's a difference in players wanting to talk to you and players having to talk to you. Because there is a lot of my colleagues that these players have to talk to. Have to. And I'm saying to myself, I'm reading the body language. I know. Because you don't. Nope. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. Nope. Not going to go down that road. Now, when I write my memoirs, when I walk away from this thing, oh, y'all gonna definitely want to hear what Big Sarge has to say. Because I tell you all the time, in a lot of instances, I'm cordial. I'm not friendly. Cordiality and friendliness is two totally different things. Being cordial and being friendly, you learning something here today on the Texas Tailgate Talk Show. It's two different things. Cordial is speaking, keep it moving. Very, very, very minimum small talk, and you keep it moving. Friendly, sitting there chopping it up. I ain't finna chop it up with everybody because I don't care. I don't care, and I'm pretty sure you don't care. And as long as we know that we both don't care, I appreciate that. One of the things I appreciate is if we know that we both being cordial, I'm cool with that. Just keep it cordial, keep it moving. I digress. It's crazy as hell for me to hear players being criticized for being emotional after watching one of their teammates go down with a season-ending injury. And the crazy part about it is when you talk about CJ Stroud, when you're talking about CJ Stroud and him being emotional, these aren't just two players that CJ just met a day prior. When Tank Dell went down, one of the reasons why it affected CJ so much, because Tank Dell is one of his best friends. Tank Dell is one of CJ Stroud's best friends. Ain't no way right now. I call my boy right now. My boy Joe. We've been friends since 1985. What's that? 40 years? I think whenever school officially starts back for HISD, Joe and I have been friends for 40 years. In year 10, if Joe would have went down, hell no. In year 3 of us being best friends and Joe goes down like that, I'm going to get emotional. If something happens to Joe right now, I'm going to get emotional. When his mom passed away, I got emotional because that was like my mama too. When my mama passed away, when my late wife passed away, Joe got emotional because we're friends. We're friends. We're best friends. Tank and CJ are best friends. So if you didn't want him to get emotional when his best friend went down, you're a damn fool. Fast forward to Monday. Brevin Jordan is on the offensive side of the ball. It's tight end. CJ has known Brevin for the 3 years that he's been here. And this is going on season 3 for CJ. CJ has a close connection to a lot of people on that offensive side of the ball. Brevin Jordan plays tight end, but him and CJ are also friends. If I'm not mistaken, him and CJ goes to the same church. Like they attend the same church. They're not just teammates, they're friends. For the slow, come here. For the people that's slow, come here. And what I mean by slow, it ain't registering to you. Imagine if one of your coworkers, who's one of your friends at work and away from work, y'all go to the same places pretty much. Y'all worship together pretty much. Gets in a car accident. And gets in a car accident on their way to work. Do you think that people should come up to the friend and say, I know your friend just got in a car accident, but you gotta just push through it. You gotta make it, you just gotta make it work. You just gotta keep going. You gotta make sure that you keep going and making sure that you keep working. Like, hey, the job has to get done. I mean, I understand. I understand that that they got rushed to the hospital and that they're in critical condition, but you just gotta keep going. You just gotta keep working. No, because like you're a supervisor right here. And as a supervisor, you can't show that you're human. You got to continue to show that you're a robot while you're in the supervisor position. That's the part that I don't understand. CJ is a human being, and CJ wasn't the only one showing emotions. There were a lot of players who were emotional because of the way that Brevin was bellowing out in pain and in anguish. We heard him when he got outside of the bubble. Okay. I am off of my. I need to. Hold on. I need to. Because I need to know where to stop. I am off of my soapbox. Oh, I got to get ready to go. But let me read these comments before I get up out of here. Yes, Brevin Jordan got hurt and he's out for the season. What's up? They call me Mr. Nobody. D Skills, what's going on? Hey man, make sure you reach out to me on Thursday. I got something for you and your kids. What's up, Illy Woogie? Alexis, what's going on? No, no, they did not do that. No way. All right. CJ has to learn to shake off adversity that are sure to happen playing a violent sport such as football. I just have a question, and I'm really asking because I'm off my soapbox of that other stuff now. Okay, so how you shake that off, CJ, in the midst of it just happening? How do you turn your emotions off? How do you expect to hold on? Let me make sure I got his age right. You want a 23-year-old. See, that's the other part that people aren't understanding. He's 23. He's 23 years old. If this is 28-year-old CJ, probably so. He's only been in the league 2 full years. 2. He's only been in the league for 2 full years. Excuse me. This is his 3rd season now. He hasn't even played a regular season game in his 3rd season. How does he shake that off? How does he shake that off watching his teammate bellow out in pain? Hell, Brevin ain't even my teammate, and it was hard for me to shake it off even after practice when everything was over. We done went through press conferences. I didn't talk to people, came outside, and when I was doing my post-practice recap, like I was still shook. Like I was still shook listening to this man bellow out in anguish and in pain. And knowing that part of that pain, knowing part of that sobbing that he was doing was because he was in pain and because he knew that his season was over, something that he worked so hard to get back to. But what I can't understand, and EJ, I'm truly asking, I am not coming at you. I'm truly asking, how do you want a 23-year-old to do that? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I seen some 28-year-olds, I seen some 30-year-olds, I seen some people who've been in the league for a very long time emotional on Monday. But you want this 23-year-old who's watching not only his teammate but his friend being carted off and hearing him screaming out in pain. I honestly and truly don't understand that. I don't understand that. I don't. All right. Maybe a light bulb has finally clicked for Mills. Glenn J. Yeah. Big boy Ursary has impressed. He has. Practice is today at 11:50. What's up, Texans Tangents? We need to talk. Ursary and Titus should be our bookend tackles for the foreseeable future. I'm him. That's what I've been preaching since last week when Cam Robinson went down and Ursary had to be moved to the left tackle. See, yeah, EJ, that's what I'm saying. It shook me. It shook me as well. Yeah. Football is such a rough game. I've seen so many injuries from the field, and it's always devastating. Yes, it is. Thank you for this 119. Season was Brevin's chance at a real second contract, the one that funds your next chapter of life. Yep. That's a good question, Rev. I don't know. Hey, Reverend, hold on. Hey, Reverend Brooks, pray for me, please. I've done some. I've done some. I've said some profanities on here, and I need prayer. Please pray for me for the things that I said today. What's up, J Rock? Yeah, Tony. Yeah, it does suck, man. He's a really good guy. The real question is, why do the ones that tell you to suck it up have a platform? Yeah, Mario, I'm not dealing with you today. I hope you come back another day. Today ain't the day, Mario, and I get you. but today ain't the day because I mean we were talking about something totally different. My bad, Ashy Knuckles. Um, yep, exactly. Yeah, Bert. Think it's the same one on the same knee. Queena, what's going on? Yeah, I'm about to end this thing because I got to get to practice. Uh, hey, so Chubb is still dealing with what he's dealing with. He had on a red jersey yesterday. Damian Pierce was out at practice on yesterday. I don't know when Joe Mixon is going to be back, but um, yeah, it's starting to shape up a little bit. It's a lot of competition over there. Yeah, Titus is all right. I reported that he was just limping. It looked like he may have just, you know, you know, had a little sting in his ankle or something, but he was right back in there. Uh, yes, yes, Brevin Jordan is done for the season. Blast off. What's up, Sarge? You hit the nail on the head. CJ Brevin situation. Brevin may be done with the team, period, sadly, from a business standpoint. Yep. Thank you, EJ, for responding. I understand. I'm not saying it's not hard, but you have to move on and deal with it later. And yes, he's young. I know, but you have to keep it moving. Yeah. And that's all I'm saying, EJ, is so like today should be different. Like today, EJ, today should be different because it's a new day. All I'm saying is, and all I was saying throughout my soliloquy was in the moment, in the moment. Like now, they've had time to process. Everybody has had time to process. Let me tell you how emotional it was yesterday, EJ. Yesterday, I was supposed to get a one-on-one with the player. Another player was supposed to go to the podium. It was so emotional in there. I'm surprised that we did get MJ Stewart. I'm surprised that we did get Tim Settle Jr. But it was so emotional that a lot of the players canceled their one-on-ones. They canceled the one-on-ones because it was just a lot to take in. And asking, because the question would have been brought up about how does it feel? I mean, not how does it feel, but as you watch your teammate, someone who has, been through a lot, who fought back to get back on the field, go down like that. Like, how heartbreaking is that? And now they got to answer that. And you want them to answer that in the moment, right? But as emotional as it was, and I think that if he goes off the field the way CJ Garner Johnson did in West Virginia, is one thing. But it's the way that Brevin left the field that caused the emotional meter and tension to go higher. Like, it affected the entire bubble. Like, there wasn't a person inside of that bubble that I know of that wasn't emotional for just a little bit. Even if they didn't stay emotional, like, you have got to be, Reverend Brooks, please pray for me when I say this, but you got to be one cold-hearted son of a bitch not to be emotional about what happened. Pray for me, y'all. I'm really trying to stop. I really am. God ain't finished with me yet. Ain't that what Steve Harvey said? So today, I think you pick up the pieces and you keep moving, especially knowing now. And without a shadow of a doubt, EJ, let me tell you this. All right. Yee! That's my breaking news. That's my breaking news thing. Yee! A lot of those players got a chance to communicate with Brevin Jordan on Monday. They know where his mind is now. They know where his headspace is, and they're praying for him to make a speedy recovery. They're praying for healing for him. So I know that they have talked to him. Yee! So yeah, EJ, I think that if we come back today on Tuesday and he's still emotional, now we have a conversation. Probably week one. Albert, probably week one. You probably won't see Joe Mixon until week one against the Los Angeles Rams. Yeah, Queena, me too. Praying for Brevin as well as players. This Father Gamer. Thank you. And thank you, EJ, for being understanding and know that when I was talking earlier, I wasn't coming at you. I was really just asking. Yeah, Queen, and that was the thing. It was whoa. Exactly. Exactly. So and that's the thing too, Queena. They all knew it could have easily been them, and back-to-back season-ending injuries is devastating for these men trying to feed their families and living out their dreams. Yep. J. Rock say the pray for Sarge counter started. Some of your peers was making a joke of it that the players were showing emotions when he went down. King Kobe 713. So put my hand over my heart and say pray for him. D Horn, me too. Me too. I think that he would have had a great season. Yeah. Preach. I'm gonna play this video one more time for those of y'all who didn't get a chance to see it early on. And this was me talking to Brevin Jordan after the Minnesota Vikings game. And you could just, this is what those players are going to miss inside of that locker room. Let me start it over. Brevin, for a lot of players, this is just another preseason game. For you,
yeah, bro,
it's that feeling. What was that feeling, that exhilaration that you had just to be back on the football field?
I don't even know how to word it. It was really, for me, just a sense of gratitude, like humility, hunger. I was just grateful to be back out there, dog. Because when we played them last year, I got hurt week 2, and we played them week 3 last year, and I was at home watching. But then to come back in my first preseason game back is against them, bro. It's unbelievable. It's very humbling.
How do you build off of what you did today?
Yeah, just keep stacking, man. I live by the motto, keep going. So I think as a team, we see the potential, and I think we just got to go back and just keep building, bro. Just keep stacking, keep adding layers to who we want to be as a team and as an offense.
Appreciate it. I got to get out of here, y'all. We're about to start practice. I'll see you all later on for the Texans happy hour. And we get a chance to hear the new sound system, see the new board today. We get to see what new foods is going to be debuted this season. We're doing the What's New, the What's New event with the Houston Texans organization after practice today. So, yeah, that part. You've been tuned to the Texas Tailgate Talk Show. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Follow me on the tick and the talk at Big Sarge Media. Make sure you subscribe to the Texas Tailgate Talk podcast and YouTube channel, all one word, Texas Tailgate Talk. Thank you. I had hit 500 subscribers, y'all, and I was so happy. Then I think I lost a subscriber. I'm back at 500. I'm back at 500. Hey, that means a lot to me, y'all. Listen, I just started this channel. I'm at 500. That means I'm halfway to my goal of 1,000. Staying alive. Staying alive. Make sure you go to www.bigsargemedia.com and read my new article out about Brevin Jordan's injury. And yeah, that part. Big Sarge, I'm out.
Big Sarge.